Hi, and welcome to the School Health Educators Podcast, where we discuss health education and how to best teach health ed in the K 12 setting. Hi, and welcome to the School Health Educators Podcast. I'm your host, Lori Reichel. And I wanted to say to those of you out there that are on your summer break, happy summer! Woohoo! We know that you worked a really long year. What you do is not easy. It doesn't mean you don't enjoy it, yet typically what's challenging to us brings us the most joy. And like I say a lot on the podcast episodes, I really support your success, and I'm thankful for all that you're doing with our young people today. So thank you. And when I say we, I'm talking about all these wonderful guests that have been on the School Health Educators podcast, as well as myself. Because as a former practitioner being in the pre-K through 12 setting, I get what we're all trying to do and what we are doing, not just trying, we are succeeding. So, this episode basically is going to tell you about some of the episodes that were released in May and June, in case you wanted to be inspired for your fall, if you're going back to school in the fall in the US and all. And then there's an episode too to remind you of what we do in the classroom is actually what we are supposed to be embracing. It's so easy to embrace these healthy habits because we're teaching them. So, back in May, there were a few episodes that focused on some reminders for talking to children about puberty and other growing up topics. So, I had an episode and I went over some activities that I myself have done, including the puberty chit chat cards and the Talk Puberty app. And then Megan Adams joined in on May 13th, going over simple tips and reminders for teaching about puberty and other growing up topics. So you might be like, I'm not teaching this right now. I'm going to teach it next spring or whatever. So remember that these episodes exist, the one with Megan Adams and then the one I did on my own. So they'll be available even if you do this topic again next spring, something like that. Going to another topic, which you might want to look into research over the summer, and that's on the habits of mind. So Janice Mix, who teaches at the elementary school level, she was on the podcast that was released on May 26th, and she talked about how she teaches young people about the habits of mind. So all of these wonderful, wonderful things that we ourselves can embrace as well as empowering children. So please check that out. And then, as you're preparing perhaps for this new school year, you can listen in to the episode with Scott Todnam, which was released on June 23rd. And Scott went over some of the analogies he uses with his students to talk about a concept and then relate it to something else so they can kind of like get a deeper understanding if there's an analogy there. And Scott gave a variety of examples in that episode. So, again, if you're thinking of next school year, if you're not on summer break, you might be thinking about next week or something, listen into that episode to get some perhaps fresh ideas. And then, last but not least, is the episode that was released on June 9th. And I'm choosing to talk about this episode last in this mini episode that's being released. I'm choosing to talk about this episode last because those of you that are on a summer break, I need you to remember that our content area, which is really about functional health knowledge and life skills, that's about our wellness too. As much as we teach it to young people, we ourselves need to embrace these healthy habits. So the episode that was released on June 9th, that was with Kathleen Vogt, and it was titled How Teaching Health Education Supports Our Own Wellness. So please listen to that because she even talks about some resources she uses in the classroom, but also within her own life, like talking about mindfulness and actually practicing mindfulness, which I hope you are being mindful this summer or wherever you are in the world, whatever the weather's going on, I hope you're being mindful and taking care of yourself. So this ends the mini episode for reviewing some May and June past episodes of the School Health Educators podcast. Remember that this is the only podcast focusing on teaching health education in schools. So please tell others about the podcast. And if you'd like to be a guest, let me know. Email me at schoolhealtheducators@gmail.com. And if you haven't checked it out yet, please go to the School Health Educators website. It's schoolhealtheducators.org. And remember to follow this podcast, give it a thumbs up. That'd be really awesome sauce. And again, I thank you. Thank you so much for everything that you do for our field, specifically for children and youth. You matter. You make a difference. So thank you, and please take care of yourselves. Thanks for listening in. I hope you have a great day.